Horizon Forbidden West and Dying Light 2. This year, you could make an argument it's even bigger, and I would make that argument. I think this year's February is just stupid stacked, and we're going to be looking at the biggest upcoming PlayStation 4 and 5 games in the month of February 2023. I want to mention this up front. No VR2 is going to be in this video. We might do a separate VR2 video running down that lineup, but I know VR2 for a lot of you guys are just going to be priced out of it, $650, and then buying the games. It's a pricey endeavor to say the least, and I think for now it's going to be limited to a very small amount of people from the overall PlayStation 5 user base, so bear that in mind. With that being said, we got a ton of big stuff to go over, so let's get right into it. And let's start things off with Tecmo Koei and Electronic Arts' Wild Hearts. Now, this game was one of the more surprising announcements of the last few years. Wild Hearts is a unique twist on the hunting genre where technology gives you a fighting chance against fearsome beasts infused with the ferocious power of nature itself. Take on these creatures alone, or of course, you could go the cooperative play route and you can hunt with friends in seamless co-op. No one remembers what happened and why the rampage began through a once prosperous Azuma. Fueled by desperation, they wield the power of primal nature at its most destructive. For a while, it seemed nothing could stand in their way, but it is up to you to fight these behemoths, and you're gonna be fighting some massive creatures in big scale battles, and we've already seen some of the creatures you're gonna go up against. It's gonna be one where you're gonna have a lot of interesting boss fights. Wild Hearts is officially dropping on February 16th. It will be a PlayStation 5 only title, so bear that in mind as well. Technically does look quite impressive, so very much excited for that. Next up, I think the majority of people would agree that this is the biggest game of February. Of course, that is Hogwarts Legacy. You know, I've been a little surprised with just how much people are excited about this game. Don't get it twisted. When you drop me in an open world fantasy adventure RPG, I'm gonna be pretty excited for it as well. But as somebody that's never been a gigantic Harry Potter fan, nothing against it, just have never really watched the movies outside of when they were airing as I was a kid, and I don't remember much from it, but it looks like a compelling open world RPG, and Hogwarts Legacy will be at first launching on next generation platforms. It will ultimately be coming to PS4, Xbox One, hell, it'll even be on the Nintendo Switch, but Hogwarts Legacy for now will be on PS5, Series, and PC. It's an immersive open world action RPG. Now you can take control of the action and be at the center of your own adventure in the wizarding world. Obviously going to be narrative driven, obviously going to have a sizable amount of content. We've heard if you want to take part in the side content and do everything, you know, you're looking at a 70-hour experience. Do bear in mind the date that this game is dropping, February 10th. Yes, the February 10th date is being promoted a lot. If you buy the deluxe edition, which is a little bit more expensive than the base game, it's $10 more, that will get you some in-game items, but I think more importantly than anything else, it'll get you 72 hours of quote-unquote early access. Is it really early access? No, it's just that people that dare to pay only the $70 will have to wait an additional 3 days. By the time February 7th rolls around, the game is already done. Hell, the game is pretty much done at this point, and yeah, I'm not a big fan of that release gimmick, but look, a lot of people are gonna end up buying the digital deluxe edition because of this, and Warner Brothers is gonna make a lot of money, so take it for what you will. The official main game release, I guess you could say, is February 10th, but for digital deluxe buyers, it will be February 7th. Next up, we have a free upgrade coming to PS5 and Xbox Series, and that is Journey to the Savage Planet. This is a game that was pretty well received when it initially dropped on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and now it will be dropping on PS5 with obviously the bells and whistles of the next generation upgrade. As the newest recruit of the Kindred Aerospace, the fourth best interstellar space exploration company, your job is to determine if the planet ARY-26 planet is fit for humans. You may be short on equipment and experience, but you'll figure it out. Good luck. The game was relatively well received with a 77 on Metacritic, and now with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series release, you'll be getting some additional DLC, and on top of that, support of up to 4K native or upscale resolution. And of course, if you previously bought the game, it will be a free upgrade to next generation platforms. Journey to the Savage Planet will be hitting next gen on February the 14th. Next up, we have a sci-fi action-adventure game in Scars Above. Scars Above is a challenging sci-fi third-person action-adventure shooter combining the rewarding feeling of overcoming difficulty with a compelling and intricate story set in a mysterious alien world to explore. Seeing a lot of people compare Scars Above to a game like Returnal, and I can definitely see the comparison based on the world, the protagonist. There's a lot of resemblances, but at the same time, I think it's going to have its own unique battle system and everything of that nature. Embark on a research journey. You play as Kate, who is a scientist to her core, and you'll use that scientific expertise to extract information from your surroundings by scanning artifacts, materials, and creatures in order to learn about their features, properties, and weaknesses. As you explore your surroundings, you will conduct an analysis and gain knowledge that'll allow you to craft new gadgets, weapons, and unlock different abilities. You've got thrilling boss fights as well, all taking place in this sci-fi world. Scars Above will be dropping on February 28th. Next up, major JRPG release, Octopath Traveler 2. Unfortunately, we never got the original Octopath Traveler on PlayStation. It did drop on PC and Nintendo Switch, and the game is a brand new entry in the Octopath Traveler series, the first installment of which was initially released all the way back in 2018, sold over 3 million copies. Begin your adventure as one of 8 new travelers, each with their own origins, motivations, and unique skills. The series' HD 2D graphics, a fusion of retro pixel art and 3D CG, have reached even greater heights. The story takes place in Solista, where diverse cultures thrive from east to west, and the industries of a new era flourish. You can set sail the seas and explore every corner of a world that changes from day and night, and each traveler has a unique set of path actions they can use to battle townspeople. Familiar mechanics from the original game have been preserved, like the freedom to develop your travelers, as well as the break and boost system that made battle so exhilarating, but new mechanics have also been added. Octopath Traveler will be officially released on February 24th. Next up, another long-awaited title. We have Focus Entertainment and Mundfish's Atomic Heart. Again, this is a game people have been waiting on for a long time, and it's finally here. In a mad and sublime utopian world, take part in explosive encounters, adapt your fighting style to each opponent, use your environment, and upgrade your equipment to fulfill your mission. If you want to reach the truth, you'll have to pay in blood. Now, this is a narrative-driven FPS action shooter in a very, very interesting world where technology is getting a little bit wild. The unstoppable course of technology, along with secret experiments, have brought to rise of these mutant creatures, terrifying machines, and superpowered robots, all suddenly rebelling against their creators. Expect something a bit more on the gruesome and visceral side, to say the least, and blast giant machines and mutants using your multiple skills and advanced weapons, and upgrade your arsenal and equipment. Atomic Heart will be dropping on February 20th. Now, it will be released on PS4 and PS5. It'll also be coming to Xbox and PC. If you are playing it on Xbox and PC, you'll want to know that it will be an Xbox Game Pass title, so a huge coup by Microsoft to get that as a part of Game Pass. Next up, here's a RPG I've been talking more and more about, and this is one you'll want to have on your radar. Redemption Reapers. This is a dark strategy RPG that I think a lot of people would have interest in if they just knew about it. It's going a little bit under the radar, and I think it's ultimate undoing maybe the fact it's releasing around so many major games, but let's hope it gets the attention it deserves. The game notes, descending suddenly onto the world, the Macabre Mort armies destroy nation after nation, leaving humanity decimated in their wake. Among the forces resisting the Mort is a small band of mercenaries, the main characters, that being the Ashen Hawk Brigade. They're all unique characters, and they will interact with one another and build relationships, and together they'll take on these fierce battles with tactical expertise. Get to know a small but elite force of 5 and figure out how to best utilize each member's unique skills. Carefully manage limiting resources, including weapons and recovery items. Forge bonds with the members of the brigade through both strategy and story. Adapt to every situation by taking advantage of all 5 members' unique weapons and strength. Redemption Reapers will be dropping on February 22nd. Have this one on your radar. The price point's a little bit hefty at $49.99, but I think if you're a dark fantasy fan and an RPG fan and you like the strategy gameplay style of things, Redemption Reapers is going to be something right up your alley, and I expect a pretty interesting narrative attached to this one as well. Next up, we have Like a Dragon Ishin. We've been talking about this quite a bit, but this is another one that people are super excited for. Yakuza, Like a Dragon, RGG in general have just been killing it over the last few years, especially over here in the West. It's set in 1860s Kyoto, is plagued by widespread inequality, and one samurai will change the course of history in his search for justice. Take up the sword of Sakamoto Ryoma and venture to Kyoto to find your father's killer, clear yourself of a framed murder, and restore your honor. In doing doing so, you'll bring an end to the samurai era and forever change the future of Japan. Now, interesting to note here, game is scheduled for a release on February 21st, but is that really the release date? Nah, if you do pre-order the game, you get the game 4 days early access, so it'll be February 17th. Look, I like that release strategy a lot more than locking the early access, quote-unquote early access, behind a paywall of the deluxe edition, so I'll give them credit for that. Nonetheless, the game will be dropping on February 21st, but if you pre-order February 17th, I think you already know at this point whether or not you're an RGG games fan, but who isn't if you've played those games? The games are tremendous, and I expect no different out of Like a Dragon Ishin. Next up, Tales of Symphonia Remaster. This is one that I'm excited for, but I feel like with these Tales of Remasters, it was great with Vesperia, given that that was a PlayStation 3 game and you got that definitive version. With this one, I think it would have been better, and selfishly speaking, I would have liked to see a full-on remake. Look, this game was initially a GameCube title, and we did get a collection on PlayStation 3, if you don't know. We got a collection that included both this game and Dawn of the New World, and it was priced at $40. So the fact that you're paying $10 more and you're not getting the remastered version of that Wii game, that's a bit of a bummer. I know Dawn of the New World is not a game everybody loved, but it was in that collection, so it would have been nice at the very least if you got both games. Nonetheless, this is one of the most well-received Tales of games. Like, don't get it twisted. As much as I like Abyss, as much as I love Vesperia, a lot of people love Tales of Symphonia, and it's gonna be one that I think does very, very well, and it's exciting that we're gonna be able to play it on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, it'll be on Switch, it'll be on Xbox. This version's not getting a PC release, but this has been available on PC for quite a while, so I don't think that's too big of a deal, and it is gonna be a lengthy JRPG for you to get into. It will be officially dropping on February 17th. Next up, we've got Theatrhythm Final Bar Line. Now, this is a follow-up to a music game that came out on the 3DS way back when, and it notes that you've got a rhythm action game packed with 385 carefully selected music tracks from across the whole Final Fantasy series. Sets containing the game plus additional content are also available with the Digital Deluxe as well as the Premium Digital Deluxe, so you'll wanna make the right purchase here. Now, with the base game, it'll get you, obviously, the base game. Then you've got the Deluxe Edition, which will get you special music tracks and Season Pass Volume 1, and then they're already planning far ahead. You've got a Premium Digital Deluxe Edition that'll include all the context of the Digital Deluxe, but also the eventual Season Pass 2 and Season Pass 3. So it's gonna have a sizable amount of additional content via DLC, so bear that in mind. But if you're a fan of Final Fantasy, if you're a fan of Square Enix, I think this is one that you're really gonna enjoy. And who doesn't love the Final Fantasy music selection? You see all of those iconic characters in the artwork for the game, and it's just incredibly nostalgic if you've been playing those games for a long time. Nonetheless, Theatrhythm Final Bar Line will be dropping on February 16th. Next up, a game that's going a little bit under the radar, that is Wanted Dead. Now, this is a game that is done by Soleil, and they've actually done some pretty notable titles, including more recently released Valkyrie Elysium, and a while ago, Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Strikers. So here we have another hack and slash over-the-top action game, and it's a new hybrid slasher shooter from the makers of Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive. The game follows a week in the life of the Zombie Unit, an elite Hong Kong police squad on a mission to uncover a major corporate conspiracy. The game notes a beat 'em up the old school way, take down enemies to proceed further, revive the nostalgia, and a modern twist on the established genre. Truly hardcore experience. The fights are not going to be easy. Steel your resolve and use everything around you as you battle through hordes of mercenary synthetics and private security forces. Notes a gripping story, brutal finishers as well. Wanted Dead will be dropping on February 14th. What a game to be spending Valentine's Day with. Next up, we have Helvetii. Helvetii is a character action game set in a Celtic mythology. Challenge the ever-changing rot with 3 characters. Use the gifts and powers bestowed by primal deities and show your mastery of combat by pummeling, juggling, and slamming your enemies in a gorgeous 2D presentation. This is very much a throwback a side-scrolling action title, but really great art style here. Helvetii will be dropping on February the 3rd. And lastly, we have Deliver Us Mars. Deliver Us Mars is an atmospheric sci-fi adventure taking you on a suspense-fueled high-stakes mission to recover the Ark colony ship stolen by the mysterious Outward. Now, Deliver Us the Moon was relatively well-received, and this is the follow-up to that game. An atmospheric sci-fi adventure. 10 years after the Fortuna mission, humanity is closer than ever to extinction after a mysterious distress call from Mars. Earth's youngest astronaut joins the Zephyr and and its crew on one last mission to recover the R Colony ship stolen by the mysterious Outward. Deliver Us Mars will be dropping on February 2nd, and that is gonna do it for me. Again, this is not the whole roster of games coming in February. You've got VR2, you've got a couple of other lower key titles, but should give you a good idea of some of the games coming in February, and I thought all the games were worth highlighting. That's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of the games you're gonna be picking up come this February.